minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, X minus 1. Fire.
Lights out, everybody. The creaking door.
Dimension X.
Inner Sanctum Mystery.
X minus 1.
Dark fantasy.
Hello everyone, welcome to Sci-Fi and Horror, brought to you by Dwayne Old Time Radio. Sci-Fi and Horror features some of the best programs from the golden age of radio, including X-1, Orbiter X, Dimension X, it's a lot of X's, Lights Out, Ray Bradbury, Dark Fantasy, and many, many more. Before we start today's sci-fi and horror thriller, if you enjoy what I'm doing, let me ask you to subscribe to my channel. Subscribing is 100% free, and you will receive notifications on new posts. Lastly, if you have a moment, please write a short 1 or 2 sentence review or give a rating on your preferred podcast service. A positive review or rating would help me out a lot. And now, on to the show. We're going to end November with Ray Bradbury and his story titled Leviathan 99. This aired on BBC Radio 3, May 3rd, 1968.
Leviathan 99, a radio drama by Ray Bradbury. Christopher Lee, Robert Eddison, Walter Fitzgerald, and Dennis Hawthorne as Ishmael, who tells the story, play the main characters in this radio-dramatic space-age poem, for which Tristram Cary composed and executed electronic music and sounds in stereophony. Ray Bradbury, whose many science fiction novels include Fahrenheit 451, which was filmed, and The Illustrated Man, which is being made into a picture, also wrote the screenplay for John Huston's Moby Dick, which may have given him the impetus to write his radio drama. This is its first production. Leviathan 99.
Ishmael, in this year 2099, when strange new ships sail toward the stars instead of under them, attack the stars instead of fearing them, a name like Ishmael Yes, my parents flew with the first brave ones to Mars. Turned less than brave, gone sick for Earth, they went back home. Conceived in that journey, I was born in space. A child so birthed in desolations, homeless between yestermorrow and noon's midnight, must have a proper name. My father knew his Bible and recalled another outcast who wandered dead seas long years before Christ. And I being so far the only child conceived, fleshed, and delivered forth in space, how better to name me than as my father did, touching the dark warmth where I hid restless in the days before my birth. And he did indeed call me Ishmael. As did my friends, who seeing the stars rise and the deep space in my eyes as we flew kites or sailed our homespun gliders, confessed themselves glad I had been named Wanderer. an aspirant of aerial devotions whose destiny would find him out. Some years ago, I thought I would soar about and see all the seas of wind that roam the world. Whenever it is a dark November in my soul, I know it is high time to take to the sky again. There is a magic in air that cools all men, and man so drawn floats up with eagle, hawk, firewind, or whispering balloon, to test the cloudless winds that circle sweet seas of grass and salt seas of brine, until at last he faces on that greater sea of space with its billionfold of stars. And so, on a Saturday late in the year 2099, borne by my own jet packet power, I duly arrived at the Cape and hung upon the air. A fledgling bird among yet greater birds of fire and steel, and felt the floodgates of the vast and waiting universe swing open in my soul. Then I went down into town. I discarded my wings and travelled now by moving sidewalk. Into a fort, a metal barracks, a dropping place for tired spacemen. No, a beautiful computerized, quietly programmed and machined Garden of Eden. For you see, a spaceman's hostel must be half into outer space. It is a world between. A chapel, perhaps, where men come to commune with their raw souls, organize their gizzards, prepare their bones to be broken on the great rack of gravity and far traveling. Here, the new altars where we might panoply ourselves in strange new costumes, take unguents, genuflect the proper genuflections until the day our souls spoke up. Condition go. I register by pressing my hand to a metal identity plate, which reads my sweaty prints like some modern witch of palmistry to plan my future and choose my roommate by machine. Floor 1, cubicle 9. My roommate's name, Quail. Well, let's look at him. The moving floor glides me past robot museums, where other spacemen, like myself, sit with mechanical Platos and Socrates under a Mediterranean sun.
They do not know me, for they will not.
In 100 fantastic, new-styled schoolrooms, electric oracles of Delphi, robot men, complex as beehives, honeycombed with knowledge, wise as the names they bear. Schweitzer, Huxley, Aristotle, run secret tapes in their oil machinery heads and speak forth truths to listening fools who would be wise. But here's my room. There's my thumbprint on the scanning lock. I hope my roommate is not a huge spider. I do try to like spiders, but... There. The door open. Shut. I am in my room. And there, on the far side, in bed, in the dark, lies a shape hidden. A stranger, the size, shape, color, I can't see. I'm trembling. Perhaps I fear it might be.
A spider?
What?
No spider. No. Put on the light.
Huh?
Well?
Well, you speak, but your mouth doesn't move.
My mind moves. You watch it move with your own mind.
This is my first meeting with a telepath.
And a creature 9 feet tall.
I was wondering where your beanstalk was.
My name is Quell. I come from an island planet many light years away in space. A green world like your own, which grows, however, animal men which do not look quite right.
Oh, no.
I read your mind. You think I have too many eyes, too many ears, far too many fingers, a greenish skin.
But me, I've only 2 eyes, 2 ears, 5 fingers on each hand. My skin's cheese beside yours.
Well, then, we're both very funny.
And both human.
Yes. Well, what is human? Size, shape, color? No. An idea. To behave well. Creatures of the sun that we all are, to not give darkness to others. That is human. So, too many eyes have I, too many limbs, too many fingers, too many years, but still we're the same. Now, Ishmael, shall I grind your bones to make my bread, or shall we be friends?
Friends. Yes, friends, I think. And friends we were. 2 terrible and fine, ugly and beautiful children of nature. For what is nature? Why, God surprised. God continuing to surprise himself with odd miracles of flesh. And there was nothing odder or more miraculous than Ishmael and Quell from the far islands of the great Andromeda Nebula. Lived together, studied together, and, at last, went off to find our rocket together. A great kite and a small, we flew like autumn leaves above the Florida Cape. And from a distance watched the rockets fall up to drown in summer lakes of space. The scars of their traveling soon healed by wind. And below, in the towering gantries, stood the other ships that sailed for stars. Gemini 97, Star Trek 3. Which will it be, Quell? Choose.
The computers have already chosen for us.
Quell, pretend. Make believe the machines don't run us.
How young you are. There then, choose.
Jupiter 10, Apollo 88. Hold on. There.
Cetus 7.
Cetus 7.
Do we fly to see her?
We fly. There. Biggest rocket ever built.
Cetus.
Sirs.
Yes?
Friends.
We are no friends of yours.
You're quick to read my mind. Is that your rocket?
It is.
You tread the rim of the abyss. Pull back. Don't go. You, young one. Listen, do you know that rocket's captain?
Not eye to eye.
Eye to eye. You touch the nerve. For when you meet him, do not peer into his eyes. Be warned, he has none.
None?
Gone blind?
No, stricken for the word. Burnt blind in space some years ago. His skin, his mind, his soul, all burnt, but somehow hung together. He lives on. But you knew it.
No.
I want no more from you.
No? You've read my mind. Now, tell your friend about your captain. What burnt him blind? Where? When? For what strange reason? Was he a priest of space run after God, and God turned and gave him darkness in one blow? Is your captain all one piece, or does it show where he was sewn back up? Does midnight still peek out through holes the doctors couldn't mend? Is he all one scar? Was he born albino, or did terror color him up and whiten him out like awful snow? No, fine. Then turn away. The Cetus is not your ship for space. It's no man's save the captain's, and the captain's lost forever. Morning, friends.
Wait, don't fly. What's your name?
Elijah. Name's Elijah. Morning, dear friends. Morning.
The thunder of Elijah's prophecy was lost in the grand thunder of the rocket being tested. The last of 1,000,000 supplies were going aboard. Oh, the logistics of the rocket. Computerized the decisions, going on 1 billion for each trip. The nursing bottles full of super homogenized gunk for suckling men. Botanical gardens, rare small compacted jungles which inspire bad, suspire good oxygenated airs. Capsuled ocean seas which grow algae for atmospheres and salads. Machines which spin the sweats of rocket man to fresh new rains to be drunk again. Not the Lord's Prayer inscribed on a pin, but whole books stamped on needles whereby to sew up the tears in one's space-worn soul. Strange machines, stranger men. The half our crew were accidents of nature in a baroque humor. That is to say, midgets and dwarves.
We were babes, to be cradled in the lap of space. Half size, but cheap at half the price, for each pound of rocket man is worth thousands of dollars. In oxygen, fuel, food, water, living room. So much of our ship was toy cabins, with toy people squirrel caged in them.
Years back, dwarves, midgets like us, had short lifespans and poor health. But now they have put our chromosomes in a vice and compressed us down a healthy, cookie-cutout genius. A gargoyle lost from the front porch of Notre Dame, and we small boys, age 30, fresh from the womb that has diminished his cells, journey with your giant 6-foot men and make space our incredible toy chest.
So the final burgeoning of the Cetus 7 was with titans and bright child men toddling in their shed. But at no time in all this bustling preparation did any of us see, blind or otherwise, the prophesied captain of our ship. At last, the Cetus 7 stood ready. Nearby upon the Florida sands was a church, a vast place which entered was a replica of deep night and the million stars. No astronaut failed to wander here before his long night in space. Here came Quell and I on a rainy Sunday to find our way among bright tombstone plaques which touched, whispered the fates of lost astronauts and their wandering graves. Traveling graves, yes. What better place to be buried, cast forth on a sea of measureless stars and eternal cold? Such men, their spacesuits, both coffin and shroud, stay young forever. Come back 1 billion years from this noon, and what would you find? Fast frozen, the young man you knew at breakfast 10 million morns lost ago. No worm has touched, no rain destroyed him. All summer flesh, he will circle the sun like a tiny moon until the last sands have run through the hourglass of creation. Who would not want such graves and the fair cosmetic that space can give?
Lost. Lost. Lost.
In the pulpit, at the center of the spaceman's chapel, stood a man who had died 100 years ago. Dead, yes, but so remarkable a man was he that they did computerize his soul. That is, they did up his voice on tapes, made circuitries of his merest breath and motion, then locked it all in plastic flesh and steel. So now before us stood Father Ellery Polwarth. A monster robot? No. Gentle essence of the man. Is God dead? An old question now, but once hearing it, I laughed and replied, no, not dead, but simply sleeping till you chattering bores shut up. A better answer is, are you dead? Does the blood move in your hand? Does your hand move to touch metal? Does that metal move to touch space? Do wild thoughts of traveling migration move behind your flesh? They do. You live, therefore he lives. You are the thin skin of life upon an unsensing earth. You are that growing edge of God which manifests itself in hungers for space. So much of God lies vibrantly asleep. The very stuffs of worlds and galaxies, they know not themselves. God reaches for the stars. You are his hand. Creation manifests. You go in search. He goes to find. You go to find himself. Everything you find along the way, therefore, it will be holy. On far worlds, you will meet your own flesh, terrifying and strange, but still your own. Treat it well. Beneath the shake, you share the gospel. You, Jonahs, are traveling in the belly of a new-made metal whale, the rocket ship. You, swimmers in the far sea of space, blaspheme not against yourselves or the frightening twins of yourselves you find on far worlds, but ask to understand the miracle which is space, time, and life in the high attics and lost birthing places of eternity. Woe to you if you do not find all life most holy. Better than if you stay locked forever in the belly of the rocket like Jonah, never to be vomited out among dry land. The thunder of the storm ended the sermon. The thunder of a rocket echoed the storm. And suddenly it was the night before our fall into deep space. In our room, Clell and I lay sleepless, watching the diminishing rain on the great sky windows, listening to the voice clock announce the hour.
Tick, tock, 2 o'clock. Tick, tock, 2 o'clock. Tick, tock, tick. Well, tick. Awake, part. The rest of me sleeps well. How do you do that? It cannot be taught. Next time you are born, we will arrange it.
That part of you that's awake. What are you thinking?
Of our journey. Of that man who warned us.
Elijah, did you believe him?
That the captain is blind? Yes. That he is mad? We must discover that.
But by that time, mightn't it be too late? Well? What? All asleep now. All right, friend. Lie there. Your body the strange color of a world I'll never see. Your skin tattooed over with signs from the Horsehead Nebula, the Coal Sack Orion, bleached by white suns, burnt by red sun. Cold blood, but warm heart. Your mouth silent, but your mind, even in sleep, breathing French. Well, thank God for you in the days ahead.
Take off time at sunset, 7:31 hours. Take off time, sunset, 7:31 hours.
At sunset, aboard the rocket, we, the crew, waited. And the sun rose again. That is to say, the gantry elevator bearing one man rose up through the twilight air. And the elevator, rising high and swift, caused the sun, just gone below the earth, for a last moment to reappear. The sun, thus summoned back, played golden light upon this man who came alone and last. But if the sun played upon his face, he did not know nor see. And as for us, we only heard our captain step upon the landing.
That's him, the captain. He's going direct to his quarters. Why? He sounds like a robot. No, idiot. The radar screen all miniaturized. He carries in a mask across his eyes. Blind, but not blind. A sweet machine, that.
Board. All on board. Prepare for checkout and countdown.
The blind captain was indeed with us, unseen and locked away. We lay like spiders in our shock absorber webs, waiting for the fire wind to seize and throw us at the sky. And seize and throw it did. And with a long cry we rose to have our cry cut off. Silence took us like penitent monks to its bosom. For even the loud rocket which rips the soul on earth walks silent, a few miles up, treads the stars without footfall, as if in awe of the great cathedral of space. Ship's log, Cetus 7, August 2nd, 2099. Out of sight of land. How strange to put it this way, yet true. Out of sight of the blessed land, which means all earth and those we hold dear upon it. All faces, houses, trees, streets, towns, cities, meadows, ocean, seas. Gone. All longitudes, latitudes, meridians and hours, all nights and days, all time. Yes, time too. Gone. No sunrise, no sunset, no sound, no wind. How lonely. Well, will we make it back? See Earth again?
Friend, I read minds, not futures. Space is large. They say it curves. Perhaps our end is in our beginning.
Works one report on the double.
Days, 20 days, 40 days gone in space. Our destination, a star in Cygnus, about which might roll a planet moist and green as earth. We could not tell, we only went to see. Traveling up the speed of light, 186,000 miles per second, we could reach and return from that far world in 10 years. 10 years. 3,650 days of endless traveling night. And only work could save us from the boredom that slowly slides into moron insanity. Work in the chemistry lab. Work in the compacted jungle swamp which cycled our carbon dioxide and gave us fresh oxygen and green salads for lunch. Work at repairing the ship's skin when rare meteors hit.
Meteors strike. I'll double. Facility pass. Grab your spacer. Take cover.
Work which meant in seconds we must slap the great adhesive patch fast, so our air did not rush out and leave us swiftly dead. Work, work,
work. And through all the days, our captain stayed unseen within his quarters. His orders came as if delivered from a far place. But sometimes, at 3 in the deep morning, standing watch, I heard the captain pass in the elevator vent like a long-drawn whispering and sigh. Or heard him take the airlock door outside alone, there to stand sentinel to all space, to walk with magnetic boots upon the sounding flesh of our ship under the stars.
Hist! There he is.
Again, every mid-watch at this hour.
What does he do out there? Play ball with the meteors. Inhales the infrared, exhales the ultraviolet.
No, he doesn't trust our radars. Even blind, he thinks he sees better.
But what's he looking for?
Well, you can read his mind. What?
My mind may hear, but the captain's mouth must speak for him. When he finds what he is looking for, he'll let us know.
You read his mind. You don't like what you see. I can tell by your face.
There he goes. Walk, Captain. Stand guard. Protect us from the universe.
Logbook entry. 50 days out from Earth. We...
Young man?
Mr. Redley, sir.
Don't jump, boy. Do you know the past 5 minutes you have stared at that door?
Well, sir, the captain's there. I thought 50 days. Well, isn't that a long while for him to stay shut in?
How long is short to him, boy?
Such loneliness would drive me mad.
Yes? Well, there are some who savour madness all their days. It is the cud and titbit of their life. They would not know what to do with themselves if they could not nibble round the thin grey circumference of their skull, peeking and gaping from all the sockets, wondering at the cracks, assaying the guilt, rendering out the wonder.
Yes, but does he ever eat?
His soul is narrow enough. Let him feed, boy.
I have this urge to knock upon his door.
Give it a try. No, bang it. There.
Does he never answer then?
If he knew God were out there, he might stroll out for a chat, but you or me, boy, do your chores. Do your chores.
Hear this! Hear this! Captain's inspection! All hands! Inspection!
He's coming out.
The captain! Don't stand there, idiot! Line up!
Sir, the temperature has gone up 3 degrees in this cabin, all present indeed. Here's one who runs a very furnace of youth. The name?
Sir, Ishmael Honeycutt Jones.
Oh. Isn't that the sound of Blue Ridge Wilderness, or the scarred hills of Jerusalem? Now, Ishmael, what do you see that I don't see?
I saw a man tall in stature and tall in years. Not old, but with oldness skinned over him. A prime unprimed by lightnings. His face white, hair white, hands white, uniform white, all everything cut from the same nothings. This was our blind captain who led us toward the stars. Behind his dark firefly machine radar electric glasses, I knew if I seized them off, I would find eyes the color of minted silver of fish that had been born, lived, and died in the deep night. White, the man was white, all white, to match the whiteness of his much affrighted soul. I felt some years ago the universe had shot off a photographic flash. God blinked,
and bleached the captain to this color of sleepless nights and lonely terror. His heart did not beat so much as run down eternal panics. Hamlet's father's ghost stood here astride our lives and breathed out further ghosts.
How runs a ship in space, men?
With tight seams and oxygen suits at the ready, sir.
Well said. And how do you treat with a meteor, men?
5-second patch job and all hands saved, sir.
Then, how do you swallow a flaming comet whole, men? Huh? No answer.
We have not as yet seen comets on the breakfast menu, sir.
You have not.
And then, Captain, mustn't you kill a comet before you can eat it?
True. And they do not make nightly strolls through our basement half of the universe, and yet...
Sir?
They do come by. Wedley?
Sir?
This star chart here, now. You with good eyes see. From the region of the Horsehead Nebula, among a billion lights, one special light shows forth. Blind, I feel its spectral presence. Thus. Do I touch the maelstrom, Ridley?
You do.
Closer now. So, not a meteor, a moon, a world. Who'll name it?
Sir, that is a comet.
Comet? No. A vast exhalation of mystery upon the deeps. A pale bride with flowing veil come back to bed her lost, unbedded groom. Isn't she lovely, men? A holy terror to the sight.
Captain, is that not the comet which first passed Earth some 30 years ago?
Leviathan.
Speak up.
The comet Leviathan, the largest in history.
Leviathan. The great numb terror, the brute chemistry and the universe thrown forth in light and trailing nightmare. Yes. Leviathan.
Was it not Leviathan, Captain, that put out your eyes?
To give me greater visions? Yes. Leviathan, I saw it close. I touched the hem of its great billion-mile-long bridal veil. I circled round the shimmering abyss of snow gone lost in space, and then that virgin whiteness, jealous of my loving glance, rubbed out my sight 30 years ago. I see it still upon my inner lids, bunked down at night, so passing strange, so full of arctic miracles, that huge white rushing thunderhead of God. It brought me running. I offered up my fevered soul, all bright. It snuffed me out. Yet now I rub my bones to kindle me again. For, look, Leviathan returns. Now the avalanche of nothingness comes back. For this I seek in space with rocket and with men. As one, we'll rush to meet that downfell light, which having doomed, now cycles round to doom itself. That Cyclops' eye long gone deserves a blow. I'll lift my hand, your hands, to make the strike. What? Silence.
They are overwhelmed, sir.
Yes, for ours is a holy mission. There will be none greater in the time of man, though our sands run forever through a glass as big as creation's landfall in far Centauri. Technicians, scan alert! We do not idle by for Leviathan to arrive, we run to catch. Then, it is a long white traveling funeral in space, a light that puts out light. Let us slumber it forever, make it celebrate its own death. Ready the alarms! The first man who scans it in gets double his fees for the journey. Squads, disperse! Fall out!
Tick-tock, 3 o'clock. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick.
Well now.
Is that all you've got to say?
And it's not every year a dwarf like me can run hit a giant like Leviathan.
You sound like him.
If it's on our way, what's wrong with sight-glancing a comet 2 falls out of 3?
You don't even know what a comet is.
Ishmael, what did you find in the microfilms?
Same old guff. Photographs of photographs. Interstellar material. Vapors. Meteoroids. So few comets have passed near Earth since we first moved into space in the 1960s. The junkyards would best describe them. Chunks of old solar systems broken off. Accidents of huge nature on the prowl. Well,
in the stories of my people, such comets are known as pilgrim visitors, far-traveling spectres, the haunter of the feast, a collision of bright dreams which fuse to nightmare. You see, our history is as full of romantic nonsense as yours.
Well then, the captain has his reasons for finding the comet and we have ours. We're curious.
Curious, yes, and afraid.
Captain?
Oh, no. I say. Wait.
Captain?
What? Oh. Ridley. I do not sleep, I die. Lord, I dreamt I was falling down space forever, falling. Do you dream, Ridley?
No, sir.
Oh, fortunate man. Well?
Ship's log to be signed, sir.
I have a fine nose, Ridley. You've no heart for this chase.
If by chase you mean our proper business, charting stars, exploring, well...
No. Here. What do you know of the passage of dark planets and bright comets, mister?
I think you must teach me, sir.
I will. Here are 1,000 star charts, stamped, runnelled, and humped. You read Braille? Run your hand here, there. Touch the paths where the lost suns go. Here, the planetary tracks, and here upon the universal deeps the vast long mark of Halley's comet, the comet of Aristophanes, and, who knows, that comet which may well have been the star of Bethlehem, a miracle to celebrate a miracle. Here are the maps and deep night plans for all God's circuitings and maunderings, his long thoughts. God dreams joy, green earths appear. God dreams torments, comets issue from his eyes and mouth. And the most terrible outcrop of these is...
Leviathan?
From 30 years' study I found a way to meet it head-on fast, 6 months before it brushes earth. We move then to surprise.
Surprise?
Mr. Ridley, face him out. Well?
You cannot surprise a comet, sir. It neither lives nor cares.
I live. I care.
And shift the burden of your knowledge to some great wandering child, some universal accident that prowls between the worlds, homeless for eternity.
Go on.
Sir, that if, as Reverend Oxley says, all space is one flesh with us, all worlds, suns, creatures, extensions of one ground, one all-encompassing will, then that ghost you speak of, sir, that comet, that great terror-trailing stuff, is but an outmouthing of God indeed. Will you stand against such breast?
If it wrenched my soul and burnt me blind, yes.
It is a dumb thing, sir. Mere chemistry, burst out of chaos, now pulled by this tidal star, now hauled by that. As well stop your own heart as try to stop that great pale beating.
But if both stop at once, will not my victory over it loom as large as its victory over me? Small man, large traveling doom, both weigh the same when the scale is death.
In rending it, you rend your own flesh, Captain, which God has lent you.
That flesh offends me. If it is all one, God manifesting himself in minerals, light, motion, dark, or sensible man, if that comet is my sister self, come preening by to try my Job-like patience, was it not blasphemy it first tried out on me? If I am God's flesh, why was I felled, struck blind? No, no, that thing is lost and evil. Its great face hovers the abyss. Behind its mindless glare I sense that juice which oils the cogs of nightmare and the pit. And whether I see it in hellfire man, cannibal shark, or huge white blinding mass flung down along the stars to frighten men and push them to impulse less than human, more than bones and soul can bear, I must attack. Talk not of blasphemy to me, sir. It tried me first. I want its flesh. Help us. He does. If we are his stuffs alive, then we sinew his arms seized out to stop that light-year beast. Would you turn from this greatest hunt?
Sir, I am against you, but don't fear me. Let the captain beware of the captain. Beware of yourself, old man.
Do you know a rocket feeds itself in space? It wallows like a great fish in streams of subatomic life, interstellar minnows as 'twere, subliminal seas and royals of energy, like those tides of grit, the tiny particles in Earth's oceans which feed whales. So a rocket dines on radio waves, fierce radiations, cosmic rays, and meteors. It gulps these maniac foods which shriek invisible on the groundless ground. Ever hungry, we searched for banquets of yammering sound.
Queen Elizabeth, your undoubted queen, therefore all you who are come to do your homage and service, I pray to do the same.
And came by accident upon old wits and broadcast dreams of Earth. No sound, they say, is ever truly lost. In electric clouds, all safely trapped, we tuned up echoes of forgotten wars and peaceful summers.
The question of Anglo-German relations is of the first importance for the two countries and for Europe.
I agree.
Request slow speed. Now passing spacecraft containing radio data from 1938.
Turn away, Radar 1.
Sir?
Turn away.
And turn we did from the wandering voices, those lost children of time. And then, a few days later...
Blue alert! All scanning stations!
Blue alert! Blue alert, please! Blue alert!
Beyond belief.
What is it? An ancient moon?
Yes.
From our system? No. From another star?
Yes. Torn loose in some accident, traveling all by itself in space.
And covered with towns, cities, ancient gardens. I don't believe.
Yet there it is.
Terrible. Beautiful. How long do you think this moon, with all its dead cities, has been rushing through space alone? 1,000 years?
1,000 times 1,000. Oh, lovely. The spires. The jeweled windows. The lonely courts.
Retrograde rockets. Stand by all hands to diminish speed.
Disregard. Continue course.
Captain! Sir, we saw.
Mr. Redley, who commands this rocket? Why, did I give orders for reconnaissance?
I quite forgot myself. This moon is very old and fine. Our job's to touch down on such worlds, photograph, record.
Yes, I see. Lovely. Passing strange. There was a time when Our job lies elsewhere. Press on.
Sire, there it goes. That moon. The incredible cities.
I shall not see its like again. Lost.
If on Earth it is a rare thing for two ships to pass each other on their trips, think what small chance there is for rockets to cross paths in the 1,000,000,000 times greater sea of space. Yet pass they sometimes do.
Nightfall 1, calling Cetus 7. Nightfall here, inbound for 12 years' travel, back from the Pyramids cluster. Shall we hang fire, Cetus? Fix crews and drink the celebration?
Yes, we shall not.
Do I read you right?
You read me right or wrong. Stand up, goodbye.
No sooner fleeing one than we came upon another, sadder rocket full of men.
Rachel's captain, calling captain of the Cetus there. Have you seen a small life rocket craft? A space storm took it off. We paced that comet.
Comet? What? Leviathan?
Leviathan, yes. My son, oh God, was curious. He took the life craft out to search the comet's wake. Now I search for him. Will you help?
I'm losing time, sir.
Why? I lost my very life.
I go to redeem your son. God help you, Captain.
God forgive you, Master of the Cetus 7.
So the Rachel, mourning for its lost children, fell away. And we moved toward collision course with annihilation.
Rogers? Smith? Quell? Mr. Redley, why all the secrecy?
There's your reason. The captain outside again, under the stars.
I'd like a stroll myself.
I do not speak on strolls at odd night hours, Mr. Smith. I speak on information we let pass. Lost moons we left behind. Jobs we did not do.
This comet's a job. We measure all that comes our way.
Measure with mad.
Mr. Redley.
Well?
Now what?
Well?
I do read minds. Let my mind gather yours and move outside to stand watch with our captain. Now.
I leave a track down all of space, and space moves in to rub that white track out with meteor dust and worse. Well, let nothing do its worst. I pass. I make my mark.
Mr. Redley, I protest.
All's white or dark. Stars or nebulae as black as inks from squids which scuttle down a blind god's back. Light, dark, but how we do prefer the first. For white our Negro souls much thirst. For such a white as this, though, terrifies. For was it not such all-encompassed white which thrust to panic out my eyes, and would have quenched my soul had I not hid it safe away between calamities in nightmare's crib? I did. I've thrived on simple crusts of dark, and waited out the cyclings of time to bring you round and back again, O whiteness fair. My pale and wandering dreads stand forth. This time I will not swerve. My path is fixed beyond the gravities. Tracked like the whirls that hurl about the sun, so runs my soul in one trajectory. Blind, my body aches in place of eye. I'll darken you who darkened me. Your veil will be your winding sheet. Your gossamer I'll bind to strangle you, and thus bank down the fire.
Gentlemen.
Unlawful, uncommon eavesdropping.
Upon uncommon dangers. The captain breaks a higher law.
Would you mutiny, sir?
To save lives, yes.
At ease, the captain blind sees everything you miss.
As for those thoughts of his, which we just borrowed, why, how do they differ from ours, which we tell no one? All men are poets in their souls, ashamed to speak it out. Judge thoughts? No, action.
And action now means juggling that fine, great fireball comet.
Excuse, Mr. Redley?
Excused. And damned.
By night, I totted up my list of growing fears. The radio voices spurned, the strange moon shunned, the celebration of 2 rockets passing in the long night refused, and the urgent need of a captain searching for his lost son ignored as if unheard. And then, most frightening of all,
Well, what is it? Speak up.
Music.
Music? From where?
The island worlds. My home.
Your planet? Billions of miles away? Oh, Lord.
My world and more. The music of my father's suffering and death.
Strange. We don't expect composers on other worlds, grandfathers who write symphonies. It was music, it was not. It was something I had never heard, but knew from times before my birth and guessed from times beyond my death. I mourned myself. And Quell, I saw no tears, yet sensed he wept within. The music played. He grew so still, I feared his breath had stopped. He heard his own funeral dirge rolled down the shores of space to end his life. It's over, Quell. He rose to find our metal worker.
Sir? Cut and weld and shape me a suit of death. I'll draw it for you. So, all black. And on the breastplate of this coffin, burn this sign, my family, my world.
You look fine. You don't really think...
I do not think. I know. Make the suit of dark metal.
Quell did not move. He sat by the great star scanning port, his gaze fixed beyond Andromeda, as if he plumbed the fathoms of his own grave and found there all our graves in mutual deep. Quell, taller, stronger, more human than all human men, yet knew his Achilles' heel, but lodged most sadly in the circle of his ear, where the funeral tune of his father's father wrapped him in winding sheets of sound beyond my threats and pleas. Quell. Quell. Meanwhile, the metalworker cut and burnished the uniform all black, which Quell would wear in death.
Red alert! Space storm ahead!
terror, the rushing comet approached. But first it sent a messenger ahead to warn us off. A storm of gravities, atomic whirlwinds, cosmic explosions, and warpings of space, which wrecked our ship.
Captain, permission to turn back. We'll be destroyed. We do not turn. It's testing us. Head on, Mr. Ridley. Head on.
Huh? What? The storm. It's vanished.
Captain, the comet Leviathan. It's disappeared too.
Vanished? Disappeared?
Quell, you're awake again. Oh, Quell, what happened?
He has come round. Quell, what in God's name?
The funeral music, gone. Our traveling burial grounds, gone. The comet, the nightmare, all gone.
Yes, but why?
The storm has twisted time.
A warp in space?
We've turned a corner in eternity. The storm has thrown us back to another year.
What year?
Who's to tell? Before the wars, before your Caesar built a Roman road through Britain's moors. The great star beast, it pities us.
No, I say. Ridley, the radio telescope.
The comet is not there, sir.
The airlock, open it. Blind, I'll find for myself.
Our captain stood outside on a rocket ship becalmed in peace. It was indeed a time between. And Ridley stood with him between the stars. Well, what are they saying?
This and this. Peace and mild weather. Gone. All the fury, all the burning whiteness, gone.
Captain, it's given us a last chance to escape.
Escape to what? To land back on Earth and be greeted by Charlemagne, to watch Caesar fall down dead in the Forum?
Give me strength to pull this trigger.
Mr. Ridley, you lack the power to fire that gun.
And if I could, how fine to land back home and go with simple cavemen in a cave. Live out a life much less a nightmare than all this. To rest a while.
We shall rest, Mr. Ridley, at the dead heart of the comet. We shall fight free of this calm, rejoin time on a proper footing, seek, and finally destroy.
Oh, Lord, if I were sure of murdering you as you of murdering it, which will at last do murder to us all.
The sweet calm was over. We fought the storm of time in space, and freed ourselves of Roman legions on a dark Moor wilderness, lost Waterloo, missed final chance to watch Napoleon's soldiers pock the Sphinx's old Egyptian face with rifle fire, and broke free to find the comet.
There. I feel it. It is there, yes. Is it?
It is.
All hands stand by the emergency light rocket craft. You know the engines of destruction there. In each I've built a sweeping hunger to devour that thing. A beam more powerful than any laser ever built. Wider, longer, swifter. Use that power. Worry the beast. Lay him to waste.
The comet approached, and it was a great white holy terror that filled up all the universe and put out every star. And Quell awakened from his trance, and every man of proper will dropped their masks and took on madness. All human flesh was gone. Red blood was all that moved our ship. The comet loomed. We ran as children run to happy games.
Lifeguard 1, launch! Lifeguard 2, launch! Mr. Redley, take command. This rocket is yours. Boys, stay behind. Well, you come with me.
Well, you put on that black metal.
The suit, yes, with the death symbols on it.
Let me go with you.
Stay and live. You will live, I know, to be very old. Be happy, Ishmael. Good friend. Goodbye.
Oh, Quell. We moved. The 3 small light ships moved to cross that moving path of raw destruction. All was white now. We fell as in the great mouth of the sun. Well,
I hear you, friend.
Destroy and be destroyed. Like mice who nibble at one wave of milky sea, the laser beams all shrieking, but made small by greater shrieks of light-year maddened beasts now gone insane. The comet swept them up and turned them round about in time. The first storm seemed the merest bubble burst upon the edge of greater hurricanes of interstellar night. The ships now, one by one, fell down. Plucked free of skins, their metal skeletons revealed, the men tossed out in mill-race radiation. Flashing meteors eroded, baked, swallowed, vanished in the all-encompassing light. Each man thrown to a different warp in time. The men in Lifecraft 1, their weapons still, hurled down to death, perhaps in burials, with King Richard on his plain, the crown lost at his feet. The men in Lifecraft 2 spun further on to drop in open grave with Yorick's skull, or near the tomb in Illinois where Lincoln dreamt away. I do not know. The captain last. Through Quell, I heard his cry.
Was the weapons gone, my men dispersed? Why then I have these hands? Blind I seize on you, gone then I grapple you. Where is your heart? I'll die first. Oh, stand, Leviathan, it comes to this!
Out, I was tossed forth myself. Alone I watched as now at last the whiteness went its way. With gibbering voice off down the long black mine shaft of the universe, its bridal veil trailing despairs and woes, celebrating itself, a mindless mystery forever in motion. Vanishing. An echo. Gone. And gone all ships, men, large, small, sane or mad, the captain with them, madness maddened. And for 1 billion years I knew that Leviathan on return, circling round, would bring back with it him who would have done it unto death. The 2 of them were one at last, the hunter and the hunted, the fearer and the feared, the flesh and the impaler of the flesh, the madness and the vaulting dream of madness, together forever through centuries yet unborn. Ships, men, and the captain of the men, an endless cortege for the spectre ghost. Alone, I floated on a coffin which came under my hands. Within the metal case, dear Quell was buried dead and still. I drifted so upon this strange life raft among the stars for timeless days, until a rocket passing picked me up at last. It was the Rachel, who in her long search for her missing children found but another orphan. I let the coffin go. I let Quell travel on his light-year burial ground. The drama's done. The great shroud of stars rolls over the ship, her crew, as the whiteness departs all the way. I, Ishmael, remain to tell you this.
Leviathan 99, a radio drama, was written by Ray Bradbury. The electronic music was composed and executed in stereophony by Tristram Carey. You heard Dennis Hawthorne as Ishmael, who told the story, and Christopher Lee as the captain. Robert Eddison as Quell, Walter Fitzgerald as the warning man, and Dennis McCarthy as Father Ellery Colworth. Alexander John as the first mate of the Cetus 7, and Ian Thompson, Anthony Jackson, Christopher Bidmead, Nigel Clayton, and Leroy Lingwood as members of the crew. Frank Henderson as Lightfall 1's captain, and Rafe Truman as the Rachel's captain. Technical direction was by Harry Catlin, and the play was adapted for stereophony and produced by H.B. FORTUIN.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoy what I'm doing, I ask you to please subscribe to my channel or channels. Well, hope you enjoyed, and until next time, stay safe, wish you well, peace.